Alright, this is a tutorial for the Paranologies Orbital Panoptic camera. Basically, this is a wireless IP camera with the Paranologies take on it. We have our 24 IR LED wide dispersion infrared illuminator. What this does is it allows you to have great quality footage without that halo that's in most of the footage you see. All of the Paranologies illuminators come with this feature. We have an on and off switch up here, and we have a battery case back here where you can put your batteries. It does run off batteries, or power supply will go here. This is the audio output right here. This is the Ethernet port for your wireless router. You must have a wireless router for this to work. I'll show you how to set that up, and this is our Wi-Fi antenna. Now after you turn on the power, it's going to go through a power up sequence, and that takes about 15 seconds. What it's going to do, it's going to turn around in both directions, and then it's going to come to a stopping point exactly where it is now. This does have a microphone here, and it actually has a speaker underneath right there. What that's for is so you can communicate back and forth with the camera and whoever's holding the cell phone. So the cell phone does not have to have internet, but it does have to be connected to your wireless router. On the bottom of this, you'll notice it has a hot shoe mount, a tripod mount rather, for your tripod, reset button if anything ever happens, and then a QR code reader. This is the serial number for your camera that you may need later. And then this is just the Paranologies checklist to make sure everything's working good. And you can go to our website and download the instructions. So we're going to let this come to its stopping point. I already have my wireless router, and this also comes with an Ethernet cable like this. You want to plug one end of this Ethernet cable into port number 1 of your wireless router, not the port that says internet. It must go into port number 1, 2, 3, 4, however many ports. It just needs to go into one of the ports. So after you have that plugged into your router and your router is turned on, you want to plug it into the back of your camera, like so. And you also want to download an app on your cell phone that's called Pixpo. That's spelled P-I-X-P-O. You can find it on the App Store of Google or Apple. I've found that this works really good with IP cameras. So here it is again. This is my cell phone, and it's P-I-X-P-O. I'm going to show you how to configure the Wi-Fi on this camera. So basically, we're going to go up here. These are cameras I already have added, but we're going to go to Add Camera. Now you can do it two ways. You can do a search, which I'm going to hit search now, and it'll find all the cameras that are plugged into your router. There's the one I have now. And I'm going to hit that right there, and then I'm going to hit done and back, and it'll actually show online now. So this is the camera, and it's showing online right now. Now, what we want to do though is we don't want to have this plugged in. I'm going to hit the back button. We don't want to have this plugged in all the time. We want it to be wireless. So if it says online, we want to go to our settings right here, and we want to go to Wi-Fi. Now we want to create or choose a network rather. So it's going to do a Wi-Fi search to scan all your routers. When it comes up, you want to find your router, and you want to log into it. Might have to do it twice. Mine's already connected, so. What it's going to do, it's going to ask you to choose your network. Mine's right there. Okay, there's the network I want, and then it's going to ask you for a password. You have to have this password. Your router must have a password on it. It cannot be open for this to work. So I've entered my password. I'm going to hit done up top. It says camera will be restarted. So it says it has been successful. The camera's going to make a noise, and then it's going to restart. So while this is restarting, we can go ahead and unplug our cable from here. It's going to have to go through its setup period at the end. Now, if you're in the app, what you want to do is go ahead and close the app out completely. So, you sure you want to exit? Yes. You want to make sure the app is closed down so you can refresh the app. So the camera's going to restart and it's going to do its little sequence again. Right now it's making sure that all the sensors are good, and it's also going to connect to the wireless router that we just set up. Again, remember, you must have your cell phone connected to the same router that the camera is connected, or this will not work. If you do go out of, let's say you go out of town or whatever, you can use these as security cameras as well, if you're not using it for a paranormal investigation. It works seamlessly. There's no other setup, and once you go out of the range of your Wi-Fi, as long as the camera is connected to your router, once you leave, you can just use your internet connection on your cell phone to watch it. Okay, so it's about to come back here, and then we can restart our program. Once it comes to its stopping point, then you can reset your program. Then we'll know if the Wi-Fi settings were successful or not. So I'm going to open up my program now. And it was successful. It says online. So now the camera is online. There it is. And I'll show you some of the features. You see these arrows here. You can go left and right with it, or what I like to do, there's an arrow up here. You can hit this and it'll pan back and forth automatically on its own. Okay? And you just hit it again to stop it. Or you can swipe. You can go left or right, and it'll swipe as well. It'll just go a few inches. I have the microphone turned off. It is set like that for default, so you actually want to turn the mic on. And this is the button to talk through it. So I'll go ahead and talk through it now. This is my voice coming through the camera. It's got an echo because of the microphone's on, so I'm going to turn the mic off. Test 1, 2. So, basically, try it again. Test 1, 2.
Test 1, 2. Test 1.
There it is. Alright. So you can see that that was all successful. You now have the camera connected to Wi-Fi. Some other features you have, you can hit this button here. It has brightness and everything like that. Let me go back. It says, are you sure you want to exit? Yes. Now, if you hit this button down here where it says Pixpo, it'll do quad screen for you. You can take a camera and tap it, and it'll actually show up here. There's the camera that we're looking at. So you can have all 4 screens going, and you can communicate with, let's say, your team members out there doing an investigation. If you need a flashlight or whatever, you know, you can communicate with them. And the infrared on this is amazing. It will do about 50 feet. It is an infrared flood. It's not a spot, but it's made for quality footage, not necessarily the brightest. So, if you have any other questions about this camera, you can go to paranologies.com, or you can email us, paranologies@yahoo.com, and we'll get you set up.